Good morning. I think that we are fully live now. So, welcome to our first Saturday strategy session. Hopefully, some of you are going to be jumping on, and I'm using new technology today. So far, so good, I think. And welcome. Thanks for joining me. Even if you're joining me in your jammies, that's fine. And thanks for indulging me with an earlier start time than I anticipated originally. Uh, 9 a.m. on a Saturday. I know that that's early, but I'm hosting kind of a retreat at my house today, actually. And so wasn't anticipating going this early, but thank you. So when you hop on, please, I'm actually going to just check and make sure that things are going well here. And I know there's a delay. So, all right. So I think everyone's hearing me, and I see a couple of people hopping on. So that's awesome. All right. So today, I've kind of been paying attention to some of your challenges and all of that. And so here's where I want to start. If there are other topics that you would love to see, please share those with me. You can shoot me a DM. So today, our first topic is going to be 3 keys to retaining your rock stars. And I have been doing this for almost 30 years, and I always get a little hiccup in my throat when I say that because I can't believe that it's already been 30 years. I have loved the work that I've been doing all this time. And so time has flown, and it's amazing to me that it's been that long. So I started as a little undergrad and then graduate student at Michigan State University. So the information that you're going to get during this whole leading up to our 5-day masterclass is information that I've learned through study. I'm a bookaholic. I'm constantly reading and learning, and what I've learned over the course of all that time working with all kinds of teams in all kinds of industries, different sizes, nonprofits. So I'm going to bring you the best of what I got. So drop comments below, and I will try to answer any questions that you have, and give me some thumbs up when you're getting some ahas. That would be awesome. I love a little feedback here from my home office. So, all right, so let's dive in. So the first thing is you cannot fix your culture problems, your team problems, your organization problems by compensating them away. So yes, you can pay people more money to get them to stay, but the underlying current of stuff is not going to go away. So while it might seem like an easier fix, if you even have the ability to do something like that, ultimately, you're going to be required to make these changes to your culture to keep your team engaged and retaining them. And I worked actually for a very large health organization for over 10 years, and I was in compensation. So I know comp well. I was doing all this stuff for over 20,000 people. So, and also I have seen over and over, I mean, you guys probably personally know, or maybe you've experienced this, someone who's so frustrated with their job. They're a rock star, they're awesome, and then they're like, I just can't do it. I love the work, but the environment is not good. I got to go. Or I'm not getting, an opportunity for promotion, whatever it is. And then that last ditch effort where someone offers them more money. Sometimes it works, but generally not. It's like too little, too late. So let's talk about what you can do. And then I just want to quickly check and see if we have any comments or anything happening here. Okay. So thank you, Mary, for being here. Okay. Don't see any comments yet. Throw some likes and comments. Let me know you're here, guys. All right. So the first, and I'm going to try to make it as easy as possible for you to remember the information too. So I'm actually going to talk about the 3 keys, or actually 3 A's. So the first, well, actually, before I do that, I'm going to talk about 3 foundational assumptions that I find to be true, again, after over 30 years or almost 30 years of working with teams and leaders and all of that. You will hear me talk about these more than once. They kind of create the basis, the foundation for a lot of what I teach. So let me just share that with you right now, and then you can kind of see how it fits as that foundation. So the first is people want to feel like they're doing a good job. If they're not getting feedback and they're uncertain, they're on shaky ground. They don't have that sure footing of knowing where they stand. And even if it's constructive feedback, they know. So if you're telling them, hey, great job here, but can you tweak this? Or we need a little bit of a change here. You know, the legalese, like documentation, those job descriptions are really important. So that scope creep's not happening into their job and all of that, but something that they can go to say, yes, I have a good foundation. And again, the reading it is not as important as hearing it from their leader. They want to know where they stand. No one likes to feel uncertain. I can't tell you how many times I've heard from employees before I start working with their leaders, I think I'm doing a good job. I mean, no one ever says anything, so I just assume. I assume if there was a problem, they would tell me. But what a lost opportunity to just help them feel really confident in their job. You will get discretionary efforts. They'll play on the small branches and take some risks to take initiative and problem solve and all that. You'll get more out of them if they feel that confidence. The next thing is people want to be known, acknowledged, and appreciated. Thank yous. I'm going to talk about that in a minute a little bit more. And known. You know, it's work. We don't have to dive into every element of someone's life, but know something about them. Care. Don't let it overtake the work. I mean, I've seen that happen too, where people are coming in with all their problems and all that. You don't want that, but you also don't want to just have them feel like a number or they're just there to do a job. Like they're humans, and humans like to be known. The next, people like to feel like their life is part of something bigger than themselves. And the cool thing is, in almost every instance, that thing that they're a part of can be at your place of employment if you communicate to them the role that they're playing in making your big mission happen. We'll be talking more about that in days to come. But just kind of keep that top of mind and write it down already. All right, so now let's jump into the 3 A's of retaining your rock star. So in generally the stuff I teach, a lot of times it's just kind of simple tweaks that you make and makes a dramatic difference. So the first, appreciation. So like I just said, that's one of those 3 key assumptions that I think are fact about people. So appreciation. Your rock stars are likely using discretionary effort, being problem solvers, taking action, taking initiative, filling in the gaps for maybe other people who aren't pulling their weight. Let them know that you see it, that you see them, and you appreciate them. I can't tell you the number of times, again, I've walked into a culture, and a lot of times I'm working with whole teams and leaders are bringing me in and they're like, I don't know what to do, you know, or I'm losing people, or I can't get them to do what I need them to do. And everyone's so frustrated. And I'll hear that leader tell me, well, why would I thank them? I'm already giving them a paycheck. The visual that I get there is of people, starving people, scrambling and fighting over little breadcrumbs. If you are not showing your appreciation for employees, they're fighting for your attention. You have the what about me syndrome happening. If there's one little bit of thanks given to one person, everyone else is saying, well, what about me? Now, I say that, but what I don't want you to hear is I better not thank people publicly, or I don't want others to know. If that's the thought that's going through your head, you're focusing on your non-performers, the people who need to step it up a bit more. And I encourage you to think about your rock stars and creating an environment where they're comfortable versus where your non-performers are comfortable. So a lot of leaders have said, well, I feel bad. I don't want, I'm thanking this person a lot and I don't want so-and-so to feel bad. The thing is, Sally so-and-so could be doing what Rhonda Rockstar is doing if she wants that kind of acknowledgement. So if Sally so-and-so comes to you and says, well, why are you always thanking her? And I just feel like I'm invisible. And don't let them feel invisible. But, you could say, well, you know what? I would love to do that for you. Here are some things that you could do. So it's really in their control, in their power to do what you need them to do to get that same kind of recognition. So I think, again, too often our mind goes to, I don't want those other people to feel uncomfortable. But if that's where your mind's going, guess who's feeling uncomfortable? Your rock stars, because you're minimizing their efforts to help the people who need to step it up feel more comfortable. Just checking my notes quickly. Okay, so the next A is accountability. And let me check and see if I've got any questions coming. Any ahas, guys? Anything? Okay. So give me some thumbs up. Give me some feedback. It's early on a Saturday morning. All right. So the next is accountability. That is where people know what's required of the job. They have the definition of success, and something's going to happen if they don't follow through. And that something's going to happen doesn't have to be all the, write-ups and all that. It starts with a conversation at least, though, and help me understand why you're not following through. But so to help you gain the motivation to hold people accountable, if you're lacking that, if you have fear around that at all, and I have some whole strategies that we're going to be learning about later on this, I want you to quickly picture your lowest performing employee. Now, when I do this live, I get all kinds of really uncomfortable giggles immediately because you know them and you know their work. Okay. It's not like anyone has to think, oh, let me think, who should I visualize right now? No, you know them. Okay. Now, picture what your department, your business, your team, how would things function if everyone performed at that same level? Are you getting an aha? Like, oh my God. And if you want to drop some comments below, just quick little comments, what would it be like? What would you have to do? How much more would you be working? What would patient care be like? What would customer service be like if everyone performed at that level? Now, here's the truth. If that level of performance is being accommodated and there's no accountability for it, guess who's getting frustrated? Well, probably you, one, because you as a leader are probably picking up some slack, but guess who else is picking up slack too? Your rock stars. And guess who has more options? Your rock stars. Guess who is jumping for joy, either literally or figuratively, when you start holding people accountable if you haven't? Your rock stars. And I've seen it happen. I've had like leaders and team members like at conferences and things. And I know the rock stars because I talk about this and they're like, yes, please let it happen. So they want that culture of accountability. So drop your comments below. Let me know. Okay. The next A, I'm just making sure I'm covering everything. I know I had. Oh, I have one more thing on accountability. Yes, I'm glad I looked at my notes really quick. So what I see often is a leader thinks to themselves, I'm not doing well with accountability. I haven't had conversations with people. I got to start really setting the bar and I'm going to let people know I'm not taking this anymore. And if you're not used to having really good correction conversations, guess who's easier to talk to when you want to do a little correction, when you want to toe the line. You're rock stars. And you might not even realize this if you're doing it, but again, have seen it over and over for almost 30 years. So what happens is, oh shoot, I haven't really, had a correction conversation with anyone in a while, or I'm not holding this team accountable. I got to get right on it. Well, your rock stars, they love that constructive feedback. They take it in. They're like, yes, I will do something different. Sometimes your employees who don't like accountability, that doesn't work for them. They want to come to work and do what they want to do. They're bringing all their outside work stuff in. I call them the life is hard sympathy card employee. It's not convenient for them to be held accountable. They don't like it when you start telling them how to do their job and to show up on time and to be there and why that's so important. So they might get defensive. They might try to deflect, and those conversations are hard. I have great strategies for these that we're going to be talking about later. But so it's uncomfortable if you're not prepared and you don't have specific strategies for how to have those conversations with those kind of employees. So who do you end up having those conversations with more often? Your rock stars. But then how does that feel? Take a sip. If they're already kind of frustrated and like, come on, like, oh my gosh, how many times are we going to let that slide? Why isn't anyone doing anything about this, right? That's what's going on inside. And then on top of it, you come to them and say, hey, you know what? You've been kind of sliding, and I've noticed you've been late a little bit, the last month, or, I know you slid on this one little, policy, and we can't have that. And they're going to tell you, okay, I'll work harder. I'll do better. But the thing is, inside, the resentment is building. So you have to hold everyone accountable. If you are allowing those people who aren't toeing the line, the lower performers, to perform at the level that your department, your business, your team could not function at, you have drama building because of those thoughts that are going through people's heads. And everything ultimately is about defeating drama, because to me, defeating drama, so drama is anything that shifts focus away from it where it needs to be. And what you don't want to do is create an environment where your rock stars are feeling frustrated and resentful and resigned. You want them to feel comfortable. Then the next A is advancement. I'm going to take a quick second here, pop over, see if we have any questions. Give me some questions, guys. I really want to help. I've built in time today to answer your questions. I want to really target exactly what your needs are, if I can. All right. So the next A, the final A, is advancement. They are looking for ways to build on their career. Now, I'm going to talk about compensation in a minute, but advancement doesn't necessarily need to be promotion, but advancement can be help them advance their skills. If you're a larger organization and there is room for them to move up, what are some of the skills that they need to build or the knowledge that they need to build to move to that next level? What a value you could provide for them if you would sit down with them and map that out and then start to make it happen. Performance management is way more than just filling out some paperwork. If you're doing it right, you're doing that planning. And so help your rock stars see that vision for what a future could look like with your organization, and let them know that you're behind them and you're going to help them take those next steps. You're going to invest in them. Wouldn't that be amazing? So, and whether it's taking some classes or doing something online, or just building skills, that job enrichment by, let them lead a little project or something. So all those skills that they're starting to build and build their confidence in doing the things that they need to do for the next steps in their career. how about advanced mentoring opportunities? And that's giving and receiving. So, do you have like a way to target people who are potential leaders and get them mentoring with higher up people in your organization? Again, I'm talking about a little bit bigger businesses. Maybe you're a smaller business, but even if you're a smaller business, what if they had time with, if you're the business owner, with you? Some of those special things where you can mentor them. Again, know, acknowledge, and appreciate them. Spending time with you or other leaders that they might not get to know is of huge value. So give them mentoring opportunities. Or maybe it's a coach or someone that you hire from outside, but ideally, or partner them with a leader in your industry. Give them the opportunity, carve out that little bit of time out of their workday so that they can be getting that mentoring. And again, so it's that known, acknowledged, and appreciated thing. Like, I'm being known in my industry and I'm being mentored and building skills and being recognized, and just being listed as someone who gets to do that is such a beautiful thing. That's a lot of recognition. The other side of that is mentoring. So if they're a great employee, are there opportunities for them to mentor others depending on their role? Or perhaps they can also join some kind of outside association or organization and do some mentoring to those who are earlier in their career than them. So try to carve out those times for them for giving and receiving mentoring as a way to advance. How about a chance to train others? So when you're bringing new people into the organization, do they shadow some of your rock stars? Do they provide the training? Sometimes that on the job kind of training is very informal. And if that's what you're doing, it's great. It can work. You need to add some amount of structure, though. One, to make sure that the new people are getting the knowledge that they need to jump into the new job well. Sometimes on the job training is like, hey, sink or swim, good luck. You don't want that. But if you're doing a lot of on the job training with the shadowing and partnering them with someone, I mean, a super simple one is even in a restaurant, right? You'll see a waitress will come up and she'll have another waitress with her. I'm training her today. So allow them to be that person and add a little bit of structure to it. One, like I said, to make sure that that new person's getting the knowledge and skills and abilities that they need to be successful in the job so they can hit the ground running, so they know that they're doing a good job. But two, what if you do something special for your rock star who's training them? So, whether it's, I don't know, a little extra title, is there a little money in the budget? And I was going to talk about compensation in a minute. And so let me talk about it in terms of this training, if there is some money in the budget. And a lot of time this on the job training, like I said, it's just kind of sink or swim. You throw them in, hey, mentor them, get them up to speed. But if you can add that little bit of structure and then give them a little extra pay while they're taking this on. And the other thing is, as you're adding these opportunities to advanced skills and advanced opportunities, make sure you're actually carving out the time instead of dumping more on to an already full plate. And accountability will help with that. So anyway, so advancement, way to train others, but give it a little structure. Like, let it be known, hey, this is our trainer. Just a little extra tag that they can add to a title, to their job responsibilities. And again, it's a skill building opportunity as well. Offer them the advanced opportunity to shadow themselves. So maybe it's not a mentoring opportunity with a leader or someone outside of your organization or inside of your organization, but in your industry. But it's a shadowing. They get to spend a day here or there actually seeing what a day in the life would be like. Maybe it's a day in the life with you. What does it look like to take next steps in this career? That's actually great anyway, because they see like, whoa, you're way busier than I thought you were. There's a lot more to your job. Or whoever they're shadowing. So, and just some good like job knowledge. Again, that confidence of, I want to stay here. I get that this is the next opportunity for me and I love it. Or I need to tweak some things. Let's sit down and kind of re-strategize about where I'm going next. A lot of value in that. How about advanced opportunity to represent your organization? Is your organization, do you or others in your organization ever go to conferences or have booths at events? Maybe they could just be encouraged to be out in the world just through their daily life, being a walking billboard for your organization. Let them know what a great representation they can be of your organization. Win-win. It would feel good to them, and you would have a rock star out there sharing great information about your business, representing you well. And it's a time to be out of the daily grind. You know, whatever their daily job is, when they're on their feet, walking around, customer service, patient care, whatever it is. How nice to have a day where you're manning a booth and talking to all kinds of people, you know, or going to a conference or some kind of networking event. There's all kinds of things that, you know, you could send them to, again, as part of their job. So that scope creep, as you're working to advance them, just keep in mind if they're already working 50 or 60 hours a week and you're not pulling any of that stuff out for them to do these new, great, awesome things, the frustration and resentment might start building. And then the last one is, what about advancement in the company? So are you a big enough employer? Are there opportunities for them to actually get a promotion, move into that next level? So if it's not right now, again, at least if they know it's that plan. But are you hiring from outside and bringing someone in because you haven't invested in your really good people internally? Your internal employees that you're investing in are great value that you should be working to move up if possible. And then let me, you know, step back again with that compensation piece. So can you fix all your issues with compensation? No, it's a little Band-Aid. But with your rock stars, if you are adding on lots of stuff and having them take extra classes and, you know, having them do job enrichment, engage in job enrichment or train others, if there is a way to compensate them either during that period or even ongoing, a little bump in pay really adds a lot of value. And again, that appreciation bucket will fill. And so if there is a way, because it's kind of striking the balance of, so there's internal compensation and external compensation, and external compensation is pay, you know, and benefits and all those kinds of things. And then the internal is the value we receive from recognition, appreciation, job enrichment opportunities, being tagged to do special projects and things like that. And so, but if the responsibility level is going up and up and up and up and up, and there's zero recognition with pay, that can also start to create, you know, you don't want to have to pay for every little thing. I'm not talking about that. But if someone is doing tons of your training and spending a lot of time on that, you know, find a way to recognize them in their pay with that as well, in addition to acknowledging them, you know, publicly with the team and kind of making it that official, you know, they're your trainer or they're in this special program or I've targeted them and they're, you know, using these, we're enriching their job and they're learning new things, and we've targeted them for someone who will be moving up in the organization. But so strike the balance of not pay for every little thing. Absolutely, like part of the value that you're providing is that internal recognition, the internal feeling of yay, like this is so great, which again, you can't overcome with pay. But there's also that feeling of, why am I doing the leader's job? Like if you're dumping everything on them, all of a sudden, why am I doing the leader's job and I'm not getting any of the leader pay? So strike that balance of some amount of job enrichment just for the value that that in and of itself creates, and then some pay for some of those longer term strategic things, or if they, you know, earn that next degree or earn another certification, you know, add that into their pay. I think I'm seeing oh, there's this delay. Okay. So, okay. So I would love to see you guys if you have any comments. And if you don't yet or right now, drop them in below and I can still answer them in the comments, or if you want to DM me, I can do that as well. So if there aren't any questions, and let me just check. And I think there's like a 5-second delay. So I'm gonna have to wait a second to see if anyone is making any comments. And thank you so much for you guys who are here. Can anyone tell me at Fess Up, are you in your jammies? Oh, that would make me laugh. I am not, because I have people coming soon. So, all right. Well, let me if you make some put some questions in the comments at the end, I'll comment below. But I encourage you guys, I really am here to serve. I want you guys to have the strategies that you need to really rock it out with your leadership and your teams. And so, those specific questions, and I've been taking in the information that you've shared already, and those will help me structure what I'm going to talk about. I love talking about leadership topics. It's one of my favorite ways to spend a day. I actually just got to do a big event on Thursday, and I did mostly Q&A through it. I got a head full of knowledge, guys. Tap it. So I am really okay. I'm getting some. Okay. So I'm getting a question. Yay. All right. So Nicole says topics good, but how can these things be applied during growing pains in the company when resources are tight? And I know that resources are tight in a lot of organizations, even when you're not going through growing pains. Maybe it's in a downsizing era. And so the one thing I will say is that accountability will help with that. Check in the nooks and crannies of where you're losing time, efficient use of time in the nooks and crannies. Accountability, and I know Nicole, you've already commented, so people know that I worked with you. So Nicole is an awesome leader. She just has a lot of innate abilities, and we built on those. And so she is a rock star. Ha, Nicole. So, so looking in the nooks and crannies of where you're losing efficiency because you're not holding team accountable. Simple things like gaining efficiency through FAQs and lists of what needs to happen each day. So look for where team members are. So this is all about capturing efficiency. So where team members are wasting time talking to each other, answering the same questions all the time. So where can FAQs take place of that? Where can you and I know you got to carve out time to do this, but it's like that investment of time. It's a sprint for a bit to carve out that time, like making sure that there are other ways for people to get information other than talking to each other. Look at your meetings. Are your meetings effective? And I'll probably end up doing a whole topic on that. But, are you starting and ending on time? Are you having meetings when you don't need to have meetings? Did some consultant tell you have meetings? And so you started having meetings, but you don't even really know why you're there. Make sure that your meetings have a purpose. Is there another way to communicate the information? If you're just sharing information and you're not expecting a lot of questions, it's not like intense information, can you just send it in an email? Super quick one, use a subject line that indicates the priority level of what you're sending out so that people know to prioritize it in if they're getting tons of emails, that this is something, and give a deadline for when they need to read the email, internalize the information in the email, and own it. So if there's action they need to take and all that, include that in the deadline. But come up company-wide with a way in the subject line that's indicating this is meeting notes, or this is new information, or this is a new policy, or whatever it is, and give that deadline, and they need to comment or send someone for the accountability piece of that information a note that they've got it, they've internalized it, and they've taken action based on it. You can skip a lot of meetings by simply implementing that strategy. Meetings, if you're having all kinds of discussion in meetings and you're ending without what the next steps are and assigning responsibility to people, you might be wasting time in your meetings. So always in one meeting, you're prepping and assigning responsibilities for the next meeting, and everyone knows exactly what tasks have to be done by that next meeting. So meetings are a big time waster. So I'm cracking myself up. I keep trying to move my screen with my little table here where my microphone is. So I hope that's helpful, guys. So it is a little sprint sometimes for building in efficiencies where you can add that little bit, but being accountable, trying to capture the lost moments of inefficiency. Process improvement. Some of you are probably engaged in big time process improvement, but even simple process improvement where, and I call it, that little phrase, like you don't see the forest for the trees. So often I see with my client companies that, they're like, oh, we had this issue. Oh, this is creating chaos. Oh, there's that issue. Oh, there's this emergency. And if they would step back, they would see that there's one key little hiccup in their process that is creating the same or similar emergency chaos hiccup over and over and over. And so they're fixing it 100 times individually instead of stepping back and looking at the process and saying, whoa, this simple tweak would stop all that. And so engaging in some kind of process improvement, which again, I get takes time, but there are, I've never seen an organization that does not have the opportunity to capture time. So, so look for, those are just a few places that you can look to capture time and then build in that time for your rock stars. I hope that helps, Nicole. Any other questions, guys? Because I don't want to take up any more of your Saturday. Thank you so much for joining in. And again, shoot me some DMs if there's other topics that you would love to see. And I will probably do a little poll to see. I chose a Saturday because I know that everyone gets so busy during work. And I thought maybe, and I didn't anticipate being this early on a Saturday, but I thought maybe a Saturday would be a way for a lot of people to jump on live and get your questions answered and all of that. So that's why I chose Saturday, but if during the week works better, maybe over a lunchtime or something like that, but I'll probably do a poll to just see like what days and times during your days might work really well for you to be able to jump on. And I know some people can't get on Facebook at work and all of that. So anyway, I'm trying to accommodate everybody and just find a time that works. So if there aren't any more questions, thank you so much for joining. This whole recording will be in the Facebook group shortly. So if you missed the beginning or anything or missed it altogether, you'll be able to jump on and catch it. And thank you so, so much for spending Saturday morning with me in jammies or clothes. So have a fabulous day. And I look forward to sharing more strategies with you and connecting in the group. Have a great day, guys. Bye.